Hello, welcome folks to our How to Zag webinar. We're just going to give people another minute or two to kind of come in and get settled. All right, well, it looks like our numbers staying pretty steady here, so we will go ahead and get started. Welcome everyone to our second How to Zag webinar. We're so excited to have you here today. So we have some special guests that we'll introduce as we get going here, but let me give you our agenda for the day. So first, we're going to talk a little bit about employment opportunities and different information for students who might want to work on campus. Our second topic will be on student leadership on campus. And then finally, we have three of our students with us today who are going to talk about living in Spokane and what it's like and some things you might want to know about living in Spokane. And finally, as we go, feel free to put questions in the comments or in the Q&A box, and my colleague Justin and I will be monitoring those questions. And I'll introduce myself as well. My name's Nicola Manader. I am the Director of New Student and Family Programs at Gonzaga, and I'll let Justin introduce himself as well.
Hi everyone, my name is Justin Gambone. I'm the program coordinator for first year experience programs within New Student and Family Programs at Gonzaga.
All right, so again, feel free as folks are sharing to pop questions in that Q&A box, and Justin and I will collect those and make sure that questions get answered. If not throughout the presentation, then when we have some Q&A time at the end. So we are going to start with talking about student employment, and we have with us today Kelly Wentz, who works in our financial aid office and manages our student employment on campus. So I am going to turn it over to Kelly.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So welcome everyone. Thanks for joining us today. My name is Kelly Wentz, and I do manage our student employment on campus. And one of the things that I really just wanted to talk today is just a little bit about why we feel like it's a really great benefit to work while you are at Gonzaga and also participating in your studies, and then talk to you a little bit about how to, find those positions and things like that, and kind of the different types of work that are available. So as you can see here, we've just kind of outlined some of the benefits while you're working in college. Flexibility, so this just allows you the opportunity to really work with your supervisors and employers to help work around your academic schedule. So whether you're working on campus or somewhere in the community, here at Gonzaga, we actually have lots of ability to even work 5 hours a week, 10 hours a week, whatever just fits in with your schedule. And then accountability, that's just the ability to learn to balance your work, your academics, and then also your social life. We know you have lots of opportunity to get involved, and work is just another way to do that. Networking, just the ability to start meeting people within your field, maybe find out something that you're really good at that you didn't know you were good at, and start building a career in that direction, and just really finding those connections, across campus and within the community. The experience that you get while work, just gaining that valuable work experience that you can build for your resume when you're moving forward into your career finding time. And then obviously less debt. So it's just a great way to kind of save on some of the loans that you may be having to take to help pay for college. Minimum wage in the state of Washington is $13.69 per hour right now. And that is where most of our students start. But when you start looking into research opportunities in the sciences and some other positions on campus, you can start making a little bit more than that. So it is a really good way to kind of put that extra money aside to either help pay for books or offset some of that other expense that you might have while you're here at GU. And then lastly, again, just that career exploration piece where, you might find something that you're good at or that you really enjoy. So you may be a science major, but find a position in the art department and realize that that is a passion you didn't even know that you had. So it's just another way to kind of find out some things about yourself that you may not have known. All right. And then there is opportunity, like I said, to work both on and off campus. There are different types of work that are funding types. So you have non-work study positions, which are basically just paid by Gonzaga's budget. And then you may have been awarded either federal or state work study opportunity as part of your financial aid award. And what that means is really, again, just the ability to work and be paid through a different funding type. So we don't ever want a funding type to be the reason why you can't find work on campus. So we just work really hard to make sure that you have the ability to find good jobs, and then also make sure that we have the funding available for you to have those. So if you don't have work study as part of your financial aid package, don't be concerned. That doesn't mean that you can't work on campus. It just means that we're going to be funding you through a different type of source. And then our job board is called ZAG's Ignite. You can find that on our website. I will tell you that our job board is not open yet. We had the intention of opening it this week, but we ran into a few little kinks with our coding in the background. So we will be sending out an announcement in morning mail, and also sending out an email to all of our incoming freshmen and sophomores, letting you know when those job boards are available. The best way to get started is to actually start building your resume right now. So even if you don't have work experience yet, one of the things that I usually recommend is if you have volunteer experience, or if you have experience even nannying or anything like that, you start compiling all that information together so you can list it on your resume. You already have a ZAG's Ignite account. It's the same credentials that you have to log into all of your other Gonzaga information. And you can go ahead and upload those documentations to ZAG's Ignite. So once we do hit the job board record and get that up and running, you already have that information ready to go, and you can start applying for positions. And then another key thing to start or to remember is we are required by federal law to review and make sure that you do have eligibility to work within the US. So you'll want to make sure that you do bring your original documentation. So that's usually something that shows identity. So like your driver's license, for example, and also something that shows your citizenship status as far as, you know, being able to show like a passport, social security card, employment authorization card, any of those types of information that we can use to make sure that we're getting that review process completed as well. We do know that there are parents who don't prefer you to keep that information here, and totally understand. It is very sensitive information that gets floated around. But what I would encourage you to do is do go ahead and bring it with you when you come to campus. And then if we need to make it where we're sending that back to your parents via certified mail or something like that, we can do so at a later time. So. And that's kind of the basics. You know, we do have positions available across campus, first year experience hires, School of Leadership hires, Leadership Center Payne leadership hires, Nicola hires, Foley Library, RFC. Everybody wants to work in athletics, and we totally understand that. Sadly, they don't always have all the jobs. Our office is always looking for really great candidates, so don't feel like you can't find work. And then the last thing that I can mention is, if you do get to campus and you are struggling to find a job, just come talk to us. And what we do is we sit down with you one-on-one. We kind of ask what you're looking for. We find out what you're interested in. We work out kind of what your schedule is. And then we go and talk to supervisors and see if we can't help find you a good fit. So, but yeah, that's all I have for today.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Kelly. And I will reiterate too that Kelly is a great help and super approachable. So if you do get to campus and you're having a hard time figuring out the system, she and her team would be more than happy to help you out. So, and like she said, tons of opportunities to work on campus. So awesome. Thank you, Kelly. All right. So next up, we are going to talk about student leadership. And I'm thrilled to introduce Kirsten Bolin, who works in our Payne Center for Student Leadership, Payne Center for Leadership Development in Student Affairs. So Kirsten's going to talk about different opportunities that we have on campus.
Yes, hello folks. My name is Kirsten. Thanks for joining us today, and happy Saturday. I know this is probably a lot of y'all's days off, so thanks for hopping into Gonzaga. Something that I just want to echo the last thing that Kelly shared, which is like, yo, we're approachable. That's like part of the beauty of Gonzaga's campus is we're a small, community. And so, yes, like if you're not, finding what you need, like just come see us. And we want to see y'all, when we have the time and space. So yes, I'm in the Leadership Resource Center on campus. And what I love about this space is that being a Jesuit humanistic university is that the vision of this space, this resource center, is to give resources to empower and prepare like all students for a life of leadership and service, regardless of what you're studying, what your dreams are. As human beings on this earth, like we have the ability to contribute positively in our communities. And that's why I get excited about this center, that you, as a student, if you choose Gonzaga, can get engaged with us no matter like what major you have. So I'll first talk about, for the folks that love theory, like what we ground our work in, which is the social change model of leadership. And this model is kind of grounded in 3 pieces. The first is talking about self. And so we'll work with you and talk about, gosh, like, what are you bringing to the table? What are the things that you're passionate about? What are your strengths? What are things that you maybe want to get engaged with, but you haven't? What are your values? And so we start there with students, and then we bring them to the group phase, which is talking about, okay, now what are our values as a group? Maybe you're passionate about business, or you're passionate about conservation or social justice, and how do all those values come together as a group? So working with you around that. And then the third piece of the larger community, not just a group, but the larger community, maybe of the country, maybe of, Spokane or the world, whatever it is, but then taking it to that next phase. So those that like theory, we always like to throw some theory out there for the folks. I nerd out on theory, so you're not alone, if you love this. But okay, now I'll talk about like the actual practical offerings that we do. So the first thing that I'll share about is our identity and leadership series. So identities that we bring to the table are huge, right? There are lenses, there are stories. And so we love to connect the students around that. So we've offered sessions around identity and leadership for first generation college students, for athletes, students of color, for women, folks that identify as LGBTQ+, and many others. I love, like, here you can see the top picture on the left, on my left anyway, is us playing video games in the office. Yes, we did like a leadership for video gamers. So, we want to like talk about the context that you bring to the table, right? And so back to the Gonzaga mission, like we believe that regardless of what context or affinity or identity that you may have, that we believe that you can bring positive change in that area. So that's something that we offer. That's drop-in. Again, like a lot of these things, they're not like, you don't have to have a fancy major or specific major or a specific GPA. We just want to make this accessible to all Zags. All right, and then the next piece I'll talk about is another series that we roll, which is student advocacy and activism. And this series talks about organizational change. How do you, if you're a part of an organization, it could be Gonzaga, it could be your workplace, it could be your community, say Spokane, how do you bring about change, in that area if there's a change that you want to see? So that'll be a drop-in series. Again, we provide a meal. We love food. We love eating with people. So a lot of our programming, we provide food so that folks can connect and share a meal. But that's something that's rolling. And again, it's drop-in and it's free. Another opportunity that I'll share with you all is the Leadership Resource Bank, which is it's like a 4-page document with not all, but most of the leadership opportunities on campus that you can just click into and find something that resonates with you and connect with that person to learn more. So you can definitely click into that, and I'll share the link at the end of the presentation just so you can access. So another thing, or a way that you can connect with us, is through a leadership program that's a year long. And it's called the Experiential. Oh, never mind. I'm off with the slides. Let me hop to, no, you're good, Nicola. We'll go back to workshops. Gotta love Zoom here, people. We're all right. So workshops is a cool way to get involved with us too. So if you're a part of a club, say like you play club soccer, or you're a part of the International Students Union, we love to work with clubs and help you design workshops or retreats. Maybe there's like some skills that you want to work through with your group, or to bring your group together. We love to work with organizations and support them in that way. Yes, more goodness coming. So another thing that Gonzaga offers is learning, like living and learning communities, which are our first in residence life. They identify a certain floor or maybe a house in a residence hall, and it's a themed floor, a themed house. So one of them is Learns to Lead, and it's actually a leadership development residential floor where you get to, if you would choose to do this, you can apply, and then you get to live with, on a floor with other folks that are interested in leadership, which is a cool way to build that into your experience. And that's for first year students. So you can check that out. Yes, and another of our programs is the Experiential Leadership Institute, or ELI. We love acronyms. Everyone loves acronyms. I don't know, they make our lives easier. So ELI is the year-long leadership experience that students can be a part of. It's for sophomores and juniors, and students can be a part of this and learn with us around 3 kind of pillars. It's based on the social change model. So content around knowing self, and then content around building community, and content around impacting the world. And it's very much an experiential, like the name, right? Like kind of hands-on experience where students they learn content, but then we also give an opportunity to identify some area on campus or in the Spokane community where a student that's a part of the program in their small group can research and think about how they might support positive change in that area. So for instance, this past year, some of the projects that students engaged in were around a house for students of color to just be and enjoy, Affinity House. Another project was just highlighting and differentiating between the different mental health resources on campus so that students can understand and find what they need. Because we've got some beautiful things rolling around, but sometimes, folks just may not know what's available. So that's like a few, and there's more. Actually, I might give a shout out to Tara. Tara's a student that you'll meet soon. Tara just graduated from Eli, and their community impact project was the career closet to make, yes, yeah, we see some love in the chat, to make like professional wear accessible for all students when they have interviews. So that's enough about Eli. We can move on. I think that might be wrapping us. We'll see what the PowerPoint says. Okay, one more element. So bouncing off of Kelly Wentz, we love our friends, our colleagues in student employment. So we also hire students, both work study and then also from institutional funding, to be Payne Fellows in our office. So obviously, my colleagues can't do this work alone. I can't do this work alone. Like leadership and work is definitely a team, a group effort. And so we have student workers that do a fabulous job of partnering with us to make all that fabulous programming happen. And we just so appreciate them. So if you're interested in leadership or are like, oh my gosh, this lady has so much energy, at least she'll keep me awake if I work with her. Yes, you can work with us if you arrive to Gonzaga. So that's, I think, what we have, if that's my last slide. Yes, okay. All right, thank you, folks.
Thank you, Kirsten. I will also echo that Kirsten's got great energy, as does her colleague Pam, who works in Payne Center. So they're an incredibly fun group to hang out with, and you can learn a lot from them. All right, thank you to our special guests. So now we have our magnificent 3 students who are going to talk a little bit about, we're going to shift gears to talking about what it's like to live in Spokane. We know that a lot of you haven't even gotten a chance to come to campus or come to Spokane with everything that's been going on with COVID. So our student leaders in new student orientation, they thought it would be a good idea to have a few folks talk about what it is like to live in Spokane. So first up, we have Cassie DiMaio, who's an office assistant in our office. She's a sophomore who lives on campus and is currently from Spokane, Washington. She's a kinesiology major and is a Spanish and sports management minor. A fun fact about Cassie is that she was actually born and raised in Oregon, and she's going to talk a little bit about the best places to get food in Spokane.
Hey everyone, I'm Cassie, like Nicholas said. I'm somebody who loves to find new places to eat. It's how I connect with my town. So I'm going to tell you guys some of my favorite places. First of all, I love coffee. I love to stay caffeinated, especially during the final season. You all will get to know that you get tired pretty easily after studying for hours. So you're going to want to stay caffeinated. And my favorite place to go is Atticus Coffees and Gifts. They are located in downtown Spokane. They have a bunch of organic little treats and eateries that they have there as well. And you can get a bunch of little gifts and stuff. It's perfect for buying gifts for your family as well to send home. I also love pizza, like many of us. And I have been in Spokane for about 5 years now and looking for the perfect pizza place for those 5 years. And my family and I just found this one a couple months ago, and it's called Peace Pie, Peace Pie. It's awesome. It's pretty close to Gonzaga's campus. Um, just before downtown, you'll hit it. Awesome pizza, huge portions, and being Italian, I know good pizza, and this is good pizza. So don't even try to go to Domino's or Pizza Hut. Try Peace Pizza. It's awesome. All right, my last one is Chaps. Now, Chaps is perfect for everybody. It's a little bit outside of the city, but it's worth the drive. It's about 10 minutes outside of downtown, and it's the perfect little breakfast brunch place for all you breakfast lovers. I know I love to eat pancakes, waffles, everything like that. And it's perfect. They have locally sourced organic food. They have a bunch of great options for vegetarians, vegans, and gluten-free stuff as well. So hit Chaps as well. It's awesome.
Great. Thank you, Cassie. All right, our next student speaker is Tara Phung. So Tara is on our student leadership team that's helping to plan orientation. If you came to our first webinar, you may have remembered hearing from Tara. So Tara's going to be a senior. She lives off campus. She's from Spokane. She's majoring in business administration. And a fun fact about Tara is that when she was 12 years old, she had a 100,000 One Direction fan page. So I didn't know that about Tara. That's fascinating. And she's going to talk a little bit about hikes in the outdoors in Spokane.
Yes. Hi, everybody. My name is Tara, like Nicholas said. I hope you all enjoyed my fun fact. But I'm going to jump into hikes and outdoor activities that are really great in Spokane. So growing up here my entire life, I really loved being outdoors and finding ways to explore the Spokane community. So I'm just going to list a few places that I really enjoy. So the first place that I would highly recommend for all those future Zags coming into Gonzaga, Manitou Park. It's about a 10 to 15-minute drive, and there are a variety of gardens within Manitou Park, including Duncan Gardens and Lilac Gardens. If you want to go on a picnic, or if you just want to take a stroll down the park and just view and look at all the pretty flowers, it's such a good time, especially during the first few months of school, because it's still nice out, the flowers are still out. So highly encourage going to Manitou Park. My favorite park is actually Mirabou Park, which is in the Spokane Valley, and it has a lot of walking trails. So if you're wanting to go on a little hike with some friends or family, it's really beautiful. There's a waterfall right down by the park as well. So you can even lay a little picnic table too and watch the waterfall, eat some delicious food like Cassie had mentioned earlier, get some of that pizza. Another place that I love, the John Finch Arboretum. Lived here my entire life. I still can't pronounce the last word, but John Finch, that's what you need to look up. It's a really nice wooded area, 15 minutes away from the Gonzaga campus, so not too far out. And I really like coming out here when it's the fall time. You get to watch all the leaves fall down and just kind of stroll around the area too. If you want to take some pictures with family or friends, this is also a really great photo opportunity. And you can't forget Riverfront Park, which is literally right downtown. There is a pavilion down there, so you can go and watch the pretty lights when it's nighttime, or even when the sun's setting. It's really beautiful there. And the Centennial Trail is also downtown as well. So if you are wanting to, not only go on a bike ride or go for a walk, the Centennial Trail is actually on Gonzaga's campus. And if you just take that trail down to downtown, you'll actually see the Riverfront Park. So this is something that a lot of Zags will be able to experience their first year, because a lot of students also kind of jump off. I don't know if I should reveal this, but there's a little, oh my gosh, not a deck, but like a crosswalk area where students jump off and soak up all the water and sun at the very beginning of the school year. And that leads downtown too. So that's really cool. But those are just a few parks and hiking trails within the Spokane area that I would recommend to you all. They are super beautiful. Go out during the first few months of school to Manitou because it's super nice. And then the John Finch area, because I can't pronounce the last word, during the fall because all the leaves are falling down. Mirabou, anytime, Centennial Trail, and Riverfront Park, go down anytime. So yeah, that's a little bit about me and some places in Spokane that I would recommend. Thank you.
Thanks, Tara. Those are awesome recommendations. I love it. All right. So our next student speaker is Serena Hua, and Serena's on our leadership team that's helped planning parent and family orientation. So she's going to be a senior and she lives off campus. She's from Kirkland, Washington, on the other side of the mountains. She's a nursing major, and a fun fact about Serena is that she has a 10-foot long inflatable pool for the hot days we've been having in Spokane, which is awesome. She's going to talk a little bit about food, shopping, and small businesses.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, so I'm not from Spokane, so that means that I really only had 3 or so years to explore the city. And I think that a lot of Spokane is really underrated, and there's a lot of small businesses that just fly under the radar. So I would say like one place, like obviously downtown is super, super cool and fun, but I think the South Perry district has a lot of cool things as well. There's a little boutique, it's called Veda Lux, and the owner, I believe she like refurbishes, but she will take like different metals and stuff and turn it into rings and like new jewelry and stuff. So there are a lot of small businesses like that as well. And in Spokane, there's also 3 different malls that's kind of within like driving and walking distance. So there's like Riverfront Square, which is like pretty much like a traditional mall that's kind of within walking distance. Like Tara said, you can walk the Centennial and get to that mall. There's also Northtown Mall, which is north of campus, and also has other like it has like a Marshalls and kind of like it's like pretty much like a regular mall, but they also have Silver Safari there. So if you want to get a piercing now that you're at college, you can totally do that. And then there's like the Spokane Valley Mall that's about a 15-minute drive east, which is again pretty much like a traditional mall. So on your weekends, maybe try not to like ball up in your room. Of course, that's totally fine sometimes, but there's so much in Spokane to explore. So I would definitely recommend doing as much as you can. I believe your ZAC card is also a bus pass. So you can actually use your ZAC card to get on the bus and like get places if you don't have a car, because I know that was something like I didn't have my first 2 years, so it was really hard for me to kind of get around. So as for food, kind of similar to like what Cassie says, like don't go to Domino's, don't go to the big chains, because I can almost guarantee you there is a way better small business with better food. So instead of going to like Chipotle, De Leon's is one of our favorite Mexican places here. It's family owned, local, super, super good. Their burritos are like literally the size of my face. They're massive. So that's one of our favorite, as well as Aloha Island Grill is also another office favorite. They have like chicken teriyaki, mac salad. It's like Hawaiian food. And it's located in like a little shack kind of. But I would say, don't judge a book by its cover. It's really, really good food. So yeah, and then the last thing I would say is to go follow Spokane Eats on Instagram, because she always posts about different places around town. And it's such a easy way to just kind of feel out what's around and things that you would want to do without having to like scroll through Yelp or anything. So yeah.
Thank you, Serena. Yes, Spokane Eats is such a great recommendation. I know that's how I find out about new restaurants in Spokane. And a lot of them are right downtown. And, like Tara was saying, it's totally walkable from campus, especially when the weather's nice. So awesome. All right. So what questions do you all have? We have our 3 students here who have lots of experience living in Spokane. Kelly's still here to talk about student employment. Kirsten's still here to talk about student leadership. Let us know what questions that you have. Happy to answer those. We'll give folks a couple of minutes to think about questions, put them in the chat or put them in the Q&A box. And while folks are thinking of questions too, I want to throw out a couple of reminders. We have one more How to Zag webinar. That'll be on August 14th. It's also a Saturday at 1:00 p.m. We're going to be talking about student support and the idea of cure personalis. So that's a really great one to check out. As always, go to our website at gonzaga.edu/howtozag for all of the recordings of our webinars, as well as monthly to-dos and all their information about campus to get you ready for your arrival. Speaking of your arrival, orientation is August 27th through the 30th, and we are super stoked for you all to be here. Keep checking out our bi-weekly newsletters. They'll be coming to your Zag mail. It's on the 15th and the 30th of every month, so keep an eye out for those. And encourage your family members to sign up for parent and family orientation, which is happening August 27th through the 29th. They can do that at gonzaga.edu/parents. See here, we have a question about, is an itinerary available for parent orientation? That's a great question. If you go to that website, gonzaga.edu/parents, you can see a rough outline of our schedule there. Really kind of just to give a brief overview, the 27th is really focused on that move-in process for students, helping your student move in. We'll have a welcome from our administrators at about 4:00 that day, followed by a family social. And then we'll have a Q&A with our president and some other administrators that evening for family members. On Saturday, that's really the bulk of our family programming, and what they are educational sessions that happen from 9 a.m. until about 4 p.m. throughout the day, where you can learn about different offices and programs on campus. Really great sessions from all of our campus partners. Then that evening, we have an opportunity for families to have a kind of social open house time with our faculty members, which is a really popular event. And then on Sunday, we have our welcome mass and our president's reception. That happens from about 10 a.m. until about noon, 12:30. And then usually after that on Sunday, our families take off and say their goodbyes on Sunday afternoon. And our students continue with orientation until Monday. Let's see here. Oh, thank you, Kirsten, for putting that link into the chat. That's great. We got our mailing MSC number. When can we start shipping over items and belongings? So I believe once you get your MSC number, you can go ahead and start shipping. Justin, do you have?
Can pull it up.
Oh, thank you, Justin. So Justin just put a link there in the chat that kind of explains how our mailroom works. But yeah, once folks have their MSC number, once they've registered for their mailbox, they can start sending things. They do have to have their ID to pick up any mail or packages at the mailroom. The mailroom will be open 8 to 5 on that check-in day, August 27th. And then they'll be open more limited hours on Saturday and Sunday. I believe it's 10 to 2 on each of those days. Other questions? Keep throwing them in the chat or the Q&A box. When will we get our ID? That's a great question. So you get your ID, we call it your ZAG card, at check-in. So when you come to check-in, there will be a place for you to check into orientation, a place for your family to check into parent-family orientation, and then a place for you to check into your housing. So you'll pick up your key and your ZAG card at that time. Great question. Which dorms have AC? Oh, I don't know that I know the answer to we have actually like 26 different residence halls on campus. So I'm not sure that I could actually name which ones have AC and which ones don't. I know that those that it's actually pretty, we have had a hot summer here in Spokane, but it's actually pretty rare that folks need AC in the residence halls. I know that Coghlan Hall has it. Some of our suite style residence halls like Dillon, Gawler, and Toohey have it. Kennedy Hall has it. Some of our older buildings also have some window units. Places like Birch and Dussault have window units. And I know that a lot of our, I'm not confident that CM has air conditioning. It might in the common areas, but I do not believe it does in the rooms themselves. I don't, do any of you students know the answer to that? I should know, but yeah, I'm pretty sure the common areas are air conditioned, but the rooms aren't. So bring a fan. There may be some warmer evening or some warmer days when you first get here in August that you will really benefit from having a fan that you can set up in your room. Beyond that, we're really careful about making sure we have good heating sources because you're here for actually the cooler part of the year in Spokane. I did recently hear that Chardin had the window units removed. I don't know the details of that, but I know that housing, if you go to gonzaga.edu/housing, they did just post some information about that. Other questions?
Nicola, I think there's a couple of questions in the chat that I saw.
Let me see here.
About assigned check-in times and kitchens being stacked.
Yes, thank you.
Yep.
Do we have assigned check-in times? Yes, you should have received in your ZAG Living portal your move-in time. It's based on your room and your residence hall location. So make sure you log into ZAG Living and check out and get your move-in time, because it's really important that you come during your move-in time, both to avoid congestion, but also just to help keep folks safe as well. Are the kitchens stocked in campus dorm rooms? So all of our residence halls do have community kitchens, and they have some supplies available that folks can usually check out to use to bake cookies or make a meal or whatever they might need. And usually you can work with your RA to check those things out if they aren't already in the kitchen. Oh, Justin, thank you for sharing that move-in time link as well. Let's see, you can ship large items like mini fridges to campus. Again, you just have to have your ID card to pick those things up. I don't know if there are restrictions on sizes. If you go to gonzaga.edu/move-in, that's going to have all the information on what you can bring and what you can't bring. And yes, you should bring it. I would bring a plate and utensils for your own personal use. There are things like baking sheets and pots and pans that you can check out for the kitchens, but you'll want to bring like a couple plates for yourself and some utensils and things like that. And if there are a lot of housing questions, know that you can always go to that move-in page. Has a lot of really good information, gonzaga.edu/move-in. They're going to answer a lot of your questions about what to bring, what not to bring, move-in times, all of that good stuff. Cassie, thanks for adding that piece about keeping your room cool. Appreciate it. All right. Other questions? All right, well, we are so grateful that you joined us today to talk about different aspects of your soon-to-be life in Spokane, Washington, and on campus here at Gonzaga. We're very excited to see you again. Remember, orientation starts on August 27th, that is your move-in day, so we're super excited to see you then. If you do have questions in the meantime, don't hesitate to reach out to our office. You can email firstyearexperience@gonzaga.edu gonzaga.edu, or you can check out our website at gonzaga.edu/orientation, and we'll make sure we get all your questions answered. Again, a lot of those housing questions, it sounded like there were quite a few of those. Never hesitate to go to gonzaga.edu/move-in to get some of those more detailed answers about housing. Thank you again to our panelists, Kirsten and Kelly. Thank you for spending time with us, and to our wonderful students for sharing their Spokane experiences. We appreciate you all so much. And we will see you on August 14th for our next webinar on student support. Take care.